All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Dangers in My Heart, Season 1, Episode 12. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. It's going to be New Year's. It's season finale. We've got so many things that have developed recently. We've got more people that now know. I mean, obviously, everybody knew.
Everybody knew. But, like, actively and, overtly giving their support.
Yep.
We have Ichikawa actually saying that he likes Yamada out loud, even if it wasn't to her.
Yep, not to himself, but it's out into the ether.
Right, and we didn't do any, him getting out of it easy by, oh, no, a window was open, and so she happened to hear, and now he doesn't have to... No. But he is going to confess. He promised to himself that he would, and so, okay, let's see it. And is that going to be in this episode? Because if we get confessions
if we're
at the end of the first season, but then there's a whole other season after, and maybe theoretically, hopefully more than that, if it gets a third.
We're genuinely getting a confession here. I think that's why this is probably the final episode of the season.
And what blows my mind is that this isn't the kind of show to do and then there were fireworks, right?
The moon.
If we get a confession, that's an actual message received. I understand, and you know that I understand, and I know that that I understand.
But yes, we will see.
Yeah.
But y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Hey, we got the family. Okay, not with Yamada. Oh, so at a separate point.
Okay.
But if we know anything, she likes to show up to places half an hour early.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. Sorry.
Right, she's trying not to
be a bit overbearing. Yeah, come on, dude. Yeah. Huh.
Yes! We're meeting the family! We're meeting the family! Nice. And she also gives him the out of
Yeah.
May our wishes come true. Oh my god. Yeah.
Really? Nothing?
Yeah.
No, come with us. We're gonna go have food or something. Wild, yes. Yeah.
Go.
Cool. There she is, yeah. I don't have for sure. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah.
Oh. Translate. Yep. I can't believe it! This is so good!
Yeah.
Oh. Hilarious.
Oh my god. Fantastic.
Oh my god!
She didn't even see it.
Oh. Yeah, yeah. What? She's so good. Yeah, what is it? Right. Oh my god. Classic.
Yep.
Classic. Have at it. Oh. Oh, you want me to show yours too? Oh. Ah.
Amazing.
Lore. Backstory. Ooh.
Okay.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
Oh, this track. Oh, my heart.
His sister's great.
All right, they're in junior high, so the sister's actually probably in high school then. Yeah. I got you. I got you, bro.
Yeah. That was fantastic.
Not bad, kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Oh. Definitely not.
Yeah, wait a minute. And then scooch in. Yeah. What are these? Yeah. There you go.
God damn.
The secret side, yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh. You like true crime too?
Sorry for poking through your stuff. Immediately.
Yep.
I mean, you showed me mine, so I'll show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you show me yours, I'll show you mine. Yep.
So you'll need to come to my room next time.
Yep. Yep.
Uh-huh.
No way.
He's like, no, that's impossible.
Right. Backstory, here we go. Yeah.
Oh, he didn't get accepted. Did he try and go to the same school as them?
And they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
懲りないな。また惹かれるかもしれないな。なんで裸なんだ。俺はお前の心。
Oh my god.
Wild. What? Hey!
Look after him, won't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. You're not gonna show everybody that we're together? Whoa!
Oh my god. Yeah. We'll be coming in together with the same little things.
Yeah. I want to be seen. Whoa. He's gonna... Yeah. Whoa, he's opening up. He's opening up. With this track, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Right. She understands. Yeah. You wouldn't have met me if you went and got accepted to that school, so... Uh-huh. Oh.
Oh my god. That.
Oh, cool. We got a unique
Alright, yeah.
ending here. Oh my gosh.
That's just wonderful.
Oh, this episode hit, y'all.
This episode
hit.
Good.
I have been
man.
so impressed with how much this show takes the stuff that they've been building previously and continues to add more context and value to those scenes. So it feels like every incremental bit of progress leads towards bigger steps, bigger choices, and in some ways calling the entire premise of the show into question by basically saying, hey, by the way, Ichikawa wasn't always a loner who was scared of people or put up barriers or what have you.
Yep.
He actually had two really close friends, but because of life happening, honestly, the thing that I'm like this is the stuff that gets me the most is the just, oh yeah, and then just they didn't like dislike you or anything. Just life brought them in a different direction, and they're little kids at the time. They're elementary kids going into junior high. Hey, they don't have the mental or emotional capacity to understand what that like loss of friends did, because to them they still had each other. But he didn't have either of them.
Exactly.
So then he ends up doing this to basically be like, no, I'm not gonna have friends like that again.
Right.
And so
I don't need to worry about losing friends like that because I won't have any more.
Yeah. So I don't have to worry anymore.
Yep.
And it's like, oh man, we always knew way back when that there was a chuny, I'm putting on airs kind of aspect to this.
Right.
But the idea that it was not just a, oh, I'm doing this specifically to kind of channel this persona for the sake of it and kind of go into my own, like, I'm so dark and deep kind of things. Right. It was actually just an emotional wall to be like, no, I don't want to deal with that again. I don't want to deal with that anymore. It's just
that sucked.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That hurts.
It's
man.
Having it be a not confession was so satisfying. And the thing is that a lot of the times I end up feeling kind of cheated when that happens, where it's like, okay, I get what, show's going for.
We came so close.
Right,
basically.
but it still ends up feeling like one of those we came so close, right?
Yeah.
And yet this is the thing that gives meaning to the words "I like you," right? It's how we know that there is that. This is the vulnerable connection between the two of them, right? As they're leaning on each other consciously, right, with full faculties, not just because they're feverish or something like that, right?
Right.
Like, okay, all right, here we go, and we get the shoujo love interest, to come back and be like, oh yeah, all shirtless and everything. I want to be seen. Right? There you go.
Yeah. I will say the thing that before we get into more like the funny highlights and kind of like lovely stuff with the sister and the
sister was amazing.
The temple and everything. Just the idea that his desire ultimately is actually the exact same desire that she has.
Right.
And we've been building up throughout the entire story how actually alike that they are, and that there's all the wonderful themes that are explored within that, like it's not the external that is important, it's what's internal, because in a lot of ways that's where you're going to connect more deeply with the person anyway. The idea that judging people based on appearance and stuff like that leads you nowhere, but also like ends up making you miss out on opportunities for close connections and stuff because of that.
Right.
The ways in which your value is not determined then by those around you or what have you, or your individual achievements or your looks or any of those other things. It's, it's actually something that comes about through the way in which you like connect with people. Like, I mean, anyway, before I get into like the fun stuff here, I just really feel like this episode confirmed the thing that Ichikawa has always wanted, was to be seen and to not be rejected.
Right.
And yet he basically gave a test to the world, which is a very classic young, immature teenager thing to do, of like, if you can look at me with my murderer's book, my, true crime psychology book, or what have you, and you'll still be interested in me, then I will want you to be friends with me. But even then, that was a lie.
Oh yeah.
He was doing that just to put up the barriers so that he wouldn't get hurt again. Because then the entire season so far has just been him discounting all the interactions over and over again. So it just hurts so much that in a lot of ways, the only thing really different about them is that Yamada has so much confidence because of a lot of the things that are naturally just coming easily for her. So that when those things come about, instead of them being discounted, she just kind of goes, yeah, of course. But they don't sink in deep.
They don't fester as much.
Well, I was going to say they don't. She's not actually fulfilled though in terms of being seen. Those kinds of things are so frequent that in a lot of ways they don't matter because there's no effort put into them. There's no like
She's still invisible, because, Yeah.
Yeah, and so she just wants to be seen too. She wants to be seen for the things that are actually her, not no, I did my hair up, I put on makeup, I wear fashionable clothes, I have a cool job, I have all this stuff. But that's not me. That's not me. So it's just, this is a show about two people wanting to be seen that then see each other, and it's just so beautiful that's.
And one of the things about art that I think is so important is that it's about how you showcase something that might otherwise be a simple concept, right? Because the idea of being, of like, oh, a person just wants to be seen or something like that, right? Even the idea of, the love interest that is, so beautiful, so popular, et cetera, right? And they just want someone to see them for how they are, right? You just say that without actually fully showing it, and that could, sound like a bad cliche, right?
Yeah.
And then you actually get to see it. You get to see these people going through that, right? And suddenly it becomes real. It becomes so much more, not just a concept, but it's like, oh yeah, no, we want these two people. They're not just characters.
Right.
They're individuals that somehow exist now, even if it's just in our own minds. And we need them to be able to get that catharsis or the triumph, right? Of realizing that, yeah, someone does get to see them, right? And so, yes, we are absolutely going to put, the little token thingy, matching deal, right there where everyone will see it. Right, where people won't be able to avoid seeing it because, damn it, yeah, you're mine and I'm yours, and so
we want what we see in each other to be seen by everybody.
Exactly.
So it was a really special episode, and I just love that this episode was a celebration of the ways in which they see each other. And Yamada did something really cool. Well, at the end of the episode. She had seen him. And it was something that gave her pause for a second. We are not going to pass over the fact that when she saw the murder psychology book, she paused for a few seconds. That's not something she typically does. She's pretty quick with things in that regard.
Sure.
And so what I love that the show did there was show that she's human. She's not so perfect in every way that she's going to be like completely unfazed or what have you by the like, oh, that's a pretty strange book to have,
Yeah.
But she's like, oh, this is him. I want to know everything about him. I genuinely do.
Right.
This was something that surprised me. But yeah, is this you? Okay, cool. Let's talk about it. I want to see it.
Right, and that can be a connection point.
And it can be a connection point. And then she reiterates in a very comedic way that she's absolutely into you, and goes, oh, well, can you do me? And then lies back on the bed.
Read my mind.
Subtext is like not even sub anymore. This is dom text. Like this is overt text.
Yeah.
And then she almost ends up seeing the modeling magazine, the one that she's in, that he then uses to relieve himself.
Yeah. Thank goodness the trash was emptied. Okay, good. It does.
Oh no, but the magazine that has her in it that I used. Oh
exactly.
No. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yep. Henny Cabedon's on the bed, which is like, that's not Cabedon, that's like Cabe.
Right. That was a fantastic way to then transition into it, right?
Yeah.
Where then it's the and now right? And then I love that she ends up being the one to be like, all right, we'll break this off because
she pulls away. That was shocking. That was a lot.
It was shocking. It was a lot, but also she realizes that it's something that he wasn't intending to do.
Yeah.
Right? Like she has an understanding that he is made uncomfortable by this whole situation and their relationship, and it's still something that he's warming up to and getting used to and comfortable with. And so, here's a thing that absolutely would make him uncomfortable.
Right. And this is what's so good about this. There's so many different different things you could add to the depth of this. She knows that this kind of intimacy makes him uncomfortable. When someone that you like is uncomfortable, you will then by nature feel that discomfort. Even if you don't then become uncomfortable yourself, you will feel it. You don't want those moments of intimacy to be mingled with someone else's discomfort.
Right.
So, by the same nature, she doesn't want this to go this way.
Right.
So, you could infer that she then goes, oh, I don't want that. I don't want to be intimate with you. But she pulls away, and then immediately as he chases after her down the stairs, thinking like, oh shoot, I did something wrong. I messed it up. And then she reapproaches him to let him know, hey, I'm giving us, not just you, not just me, both of us a reset here. But then I approach you to let you know, no, I'm still interested in connection. I'm still interested in whatever form of intimacy you're comfortable with. But I want to let you know that because we just cleared a hurdle of vulnerability into an area that made you uncomfortable, I will offer up immediately then I just saw something, really intimate and personal of yours, so you can see mine next. And it's I want to match where you're at. I don't want to be in a place that makes me feel good, but makes you feel uncomfortable or awkward or discomfort in any way.
I want it to be equal. This is an us thing, not just a you thing and a me thing.
Right, and I feel like that's when you're so hopelessly crushing in love or what have you.
We're all fools in love.
Well, no, I'm just saying that like you end up overthinking about what the other person wants and needs. Mm-hmm. So it can also be a way to show that she's not like perfectly thinking about like, oh, I don't want there to be any situation that's not entirely like unequitable.
Yeah.
Like, she still flirts and teases with him for her.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's not to say that she's got no flaws with regards and she's some like, manic pixie dream girl that just is all about him and has no actual thoughts or desires. She's still a person, but it's no, I want to figure out the way to match you. I don't just want you to get what you want. Mm-hmm. I want us both to get what I want, because that wasn't what I wanted.
Right.
I don't want some cliche, oh no, this thing that makes us uncomfortable, and then I push just at that moment where you're vulnerable, and you just go, oh, okay, I guess.
Right.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Not just because, you could reject me, and I want to clear that out of the way, or just because this is a convenient moment or what have you to do that. No. I am so feeling what you're feeling that I want us to be in line. I want us to be feeling the same thing at the same time here.
In a lot of ways, that's one of the scariest things about a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Is because there's being comfortable with your own vulnerability, right?
Right.
There's being comfortable with another person being privy to your vulnerabilities, and trusting them to exist in that space and and not hurt you, right?
Yeah.
But then on top of that, there's just getting used to the fact that the reverse is true too. Right. And so then it's like, wait, there's a feedback loop here.
Yeah, this is infinite. Yeah.
And that, oh man, that a lot of crazy shit could happen because there's a feedback loop here. Wonderful things and, maybe not wonderful things or scary things or whatever. And that is absolutely terrifying. Like to realize
it happens so fast sometimes that like in your immaturity or in your desire to make sure the other person is feeling good about something, or in your just connection with them, like making you almost lose track of where you're at personally. Sure. You can just get overwhelmed. You can get sidetracked. You can get all off into other things. I feel like that's one of the things that this show will actually handle really well. And I don't know. I feel like this is healing for me almost. Just the idea of like in romance, I feel like stories don't go into the ways in which when you get close to somebody, it's not that it's scary. It's that it's something that it's freeing, because I feel like there's a large or a decently unspoken for percentage of the population that is craving intimacy and being seen in this regard. But when they get it, it's not some, yes, I'm so excited. It's more like a tearful thank you. And it's not, I would say it's not culturally typically seen as a very romantic response.
Sure.
It's actually seen as more of like a sad thing.
Right, like because it's not a thing that gives you flutters in your stomach.
No.
Right?
No.
Yeah.
It's not very like empowering. It's more like yush. It's very soft and kind, and it's I think it's healing for sure. But I can just think back on like the times when my vulnerability was rewarded with kindness, tenderness, and love and respect and all the good things, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think I had in those moments yes, I'm so glad this happened. It was more like it was just a release of raw, chaotic emotion. And it wasn't always like, oh, I'm crying or I'm like just anxious or what have you. It would just be raw. It would just be confusing.
And something that I also want to bring up that I think I've even mentioned in this show before, but that I think the differences in the main two characters, for all their similarities, or at the very least, certainly the surface level differences, or differences of their situations and things like that, I think is so impactful, is because there are the times where you are vulnerable by choice, right? And those can be absolutely wonderful, and that's what we get at the end of the episode here, right? He decides to open up to her. Good job, Ichikawa. Like really fantastic. Good job. There are also the times where maybe it's not like that. Maybe you get caught with your pants down. Maybe it's something where, your family starts to talk about things and then suddenly it's going into a direction where you're like, I don't like this, right?
Right.
And that's, even if at the end of the day he made the decision himself, it started with something where he's like, uh-oh, I don't want to be here, right? And so I think that's that kind of thing that you're talking about is getting at the notion that part of loving someone and truly accepting them and all of that stuff is to get to the point where those moments happen, right? Where you're like, shit, I kind of wish you hadn't seen that side of me.
Right.
And then for it to end up being okay, right? So that then you can get to the point where then, you can trust them and actually go to them with it.
Right.
Be like, hey.
It can come out in not just the like, oh, you saw my tragic past, something that's more empathetic, but like also the things of where like, no, maybe you're a little bit
less
selfish.
Empathetic. Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you're a little bit like of a, I don't know, you're a hoarder, or maybe you've got a junior high kid's just libido and you're jorking it like every day. Right? Like maybe it's the less pleasant things as well.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's where this show is very much like it was trying to bring us along that journey to begin with, in that the main character is going to show us, the viewer, immediately their less pleasant side.
Right.
And it's will you give this kid a chance? Will you allow them to be human?
Right.
Are you going to immediately judge them? And in a lot of ways, this is a very easy show for me personally. Like, I did not have any issue.
Well,
but I could see it being a thing where there's almost a little bit of meta commentary through the way that the story was introduced.
Meta commentary, but also I will say, to go out, because I was going to bring up a meta thing, in that that's why tone is so important.
True.
Because we had a thing that was brought up that in a different kind of show would make me then very concerned, right?
Sure.
And because I didn't have a grip on exactly what kind of show it was immediately, I was concerned, right? When it's like, yes, I want to kill this girl. I'm like, oh, that's how we're starting this romance show. Okay, And then, oh, hey, as it basically then starts to tell the story, and you see, even though it's not explicitly telling it to you, right? Yeah. That really doesn't fit. Where my mind went when I heard that does not fit with what we're getting. So clearly it's something different.
Right.
Oh, hey, and then that's also kind of where the show can then tell you exactly what it's about without telling you what it's about. And so awesome. And so I really applaud this show because there are so many boxes that it's checking in the mechanical side of things, even though that might not sound very romantic, that then also helps the romantic moments really just shine.
Just shine. Just be so incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I love the classic setup here of the third party brings the two of them to a space together where they can be more intimate.
Yeah.
Then goes, now that I've got you guys all vulnerable here a little bit, I'm gonna dip. I am out of here.
Because yes, good job, sis. Like that, you were fantastic, right?
The little Shiba Inu, like the dog, the Akita Inu dog.
Leaving it behind, so it's the,
was genius.
Yeah. Like the cluing in of the, he got that for her. Totes. All right, cool. I'll just, I'll
just leave this here for him.
Yeah.
Like there's ways in which she was doing things directly that I really like. Yep. But then that was one of those like, no, you're gonna need to do a little bit of legwork here, Ichikawa. You can't you can't just like,
I'm gonna try and tee you up and everything, but like,
but you have to actually swing the bat. Like you have to actually give this a shot.
Right.
And that's in some ways in line with his character, because he's aware of all the ways these things can look.
Sure.
That also could have been a clue in a little bit earlier that he's not a shut-in, that he actually does have social acumen. There's actually, wait a minute, maybe I'm reading a little bit too into this, but I thought very early on that he was kind of a shut-in loner with no friends.
Right.
And that his kind of Redditor commenting on everything energy was because he sees himself as above it a little bit.
Sure.
Out of the whole...
To an extent, yeah.
Which, to an extent, yes. But actually, now that I think about it, he was a little bit too savvy with a lot of the interpersonal dynamics kind of things, even though he was always observing other people's stuff. So you're able to see things more clearly because it's not involving you. But still, now that I think about it, no, he was a little bit too like on the nose, which now makes sense given that he actually did have really close friends that were not just, we were friends for a few months or what have you. No, they were close friends for a decent period of time, at least a few years.
Well, and here's something that I want to bring up that is a bit of personal experience, but then also as like a bit of encouragement if you would describe yourself as a loner out there.
Sure.
Care goes a long way. And I had an experience fairly recently where someone that I cared a lot about basically complimented my ability to be considerate of them. And I was like, one, you get a compliment, so it's like, oh, cool, but I was surprised at how impressed they were by it. I was thinking about it, and I was realizing that a lot of that stuff, yes, some of it comes from life experience and things, but a lot of it also, to be frank, came from my own insecurities, right? Where because I'm worried about like doing a social faux pas or something like that, right? I end up basically iterating on this stuff that I wish I didn't, That's a whole lot of stress that I don't need to deal with.
Right.
But as a result of that, suffering basically, right? Yeah. I ended up basically developing a skill set that ended up being helpful for this person, right? That made my connection with them better.
Right.
Even though for a lot of my life, I was the loner with their nose in a book. I did not have a lot of friends or, any of that kind of stuff. And so if you find yourself in a similar position to that, that doesn't mean that because you describe yourself to be part of a category of people, that means then that you can't get these other things, right? Totally. That you can't have good connections with people and things like that.
Yeah.
Because, like, you don't know. You really don't know until you try.
Well, also, not to be like against the whole category kind of things. I get where you're coming from with this, and I think it's really good. But to add to it, you're not that unique.
Right. Yes.
So
there is a comfort that can come from that. Not as a putting yourself down kind of a way, but in that, don't worry about it kind of way.
Well, not that don't worry about that. I was going to say that like the way in which you think people might not be able to see you because you're so different. You're not that different. People can see you if you're willing to show you. Like it's very doable.
Right. You're not some broken exception that that doesn't compute with the rest of the universe. You know. Yeah.
Like you're not. And I say this because I feel like I will overcorrect, I feel like, in my philosophy with a lot of things when stories like this come up, because I think that there's a misguided but sometimes accurate thing that a lot of people bring up with shows where this is the protagonist, and they'll say, "Oh, we're kind of encouraging this kind of dysfunctional behavior by having stories where this is the main character and they get to kind of course correct their life around this thing here. And I because of my own internal biases and experiences, very much push back on that. One, just in general, but two, with stories like this specifically, where people are like, oh, I can't be seen, I can't show who I really am, and yet their existence, and this is what this episode celebrated, and that's why I love it so much, is that it was basically you can show who you really are.
Right.
And in some ways, even when you don't want to, it's going to be okay. Now, I would say in a lot of ways, most of people's biggest hurts that aren't in the like full like trauma abuse kind of situations, but more in the like social miscommunications and the awkward kind of fumblings of a connection or what have you.
Yeah.
You know, those come from people being too vulnerable a lot of times, like being like vulnerable at the wrong time, or not having their vulnerability take. And that's where a lot of the pain comes from. And so in this instance here, he's experienced that. Ichikawa had kind of an experience with that where it's I was really counting on you to help maintain the connection across school, you know, changes here. And they did not.
Not out of any malice or anything, but just they didn't.
They just didn't.
They let him down.
And the thing is that if we're being realistic, part of the responsibility is on him as well.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, that's not what the story is about.
Right.
And when that kind of stuff happens, people will check out. People will be like, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to try this anymore. It happens in love. It happens in relationships. It happens in sports. It happens in, you have a bad experience with a thing and then you avoid that thing. That's just human. We're pattern matched, you know, beings to want to avoid the thing that caused us pain at some point.
That's how we
touch
learn.
Fire because fire hurt, fire bad.
Exactly.
You know?
We tried to, you know, do a backflip and it didn't go well. Maybe either do better next time or don't try and do backflips.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a clue that you weren't cut out to be a gymnast, potentially.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. But sometimes we get the wrong lessons from when those things happen.
Yeah. And so having a story about someone going through the process of healing through that whole thing is just so important, because I feel like even if you weren't a social outcast in a lot of ways by either your own making or what have you, like Ichikawa was, because he's not anymore.
Right.
He's not anymore.
Yeah.
Internally, and fuck yeah, we got to see the shoujo main boy come back. I'm so freaking glad he was back.
And guess what? When he decided to show himself and have his shirt off, he looked pretty dang cool. He got muscles, man. Even if that's
ridiculous.
Not literally, like, you know, you might not have muscles specifically, but when you show yourself, who knows? It might be something pretty cool.
Or people would like want to connect with that person too.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know these things about you, Ichikawa, and I liked you before then. Like obviously I'm a viewer, so what have you. But they had all these cool things like, yeah, we knew that he had a creative side. We knew that was something that he was passionate about.
Yep.
He wasn't comfortable talking about that, but we saw that pulled out by Yamada over the course of the show.
Right.
We now see at the end here that, no, back in his glory days, as he called it, bro had like essay contests that he won. He ended up doing like art-related stuff and got like societally and like functionally rewarded for it in like an objective way.
Oh yeah. You did fantastic. You got a national level trophy, even if that wasn't like first place at a national thing. At the very least got to the national level.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
You can celebrate yourself. And I feel like anytime these kinds of shows come up, I want to talk to the person that might be watching the video here and being like, hey, you can be you. Like that's okay. I feel like in a lot of ways, even to get like, I don't know, this is maybe just a bit much, but like even just this YouTube channel for me, it gave me a form of being okay with accepting the fact that I was way too into stories and stuff like that when I knew that you were cool with it. Like, in fact, that was why we were so close. is that there was a lot of specific things that we were really into.
Yeah.
And we knew that, like, hey, even if other people didn't want to talk about that
we
shit,
will absolutely.
we would talk for hours about that.
Yeah.
And so now, I just say thank you all in the same way, but like, maybe that's just a little too cheesy, but like it means a lot to me that episodes and stories like this exist, because it reminds me how good it is to be seen, but that you're not wrong or selfish or insecure or what have you, just because you want someone to see you.
And I'll also say on top of that Ichikawa's struggles here, right? I don't think those entirely go away.
No.
These struggles, while we get to see them through the wonderful lens of first love and junior high and all that stuff,
and everything going super well.
And everything going super well.
Yeah.
That's something, like, some of the stuff that he's dealing with here, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I know that I myself am dealing with that right now.
Yeah.
As a 29-year-old dude.
Yeah, over twice his age. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And yet that's why one of the reasons why telling stories like these are so important, right? And why I love we have this story. And thank you for getting us to watch this show.
Yeah.
Now that we've like seen the first season in full, even though there's more, I want to go and get other people to watch this show and be like, come on, let's watch this.
I know
It's
specific
great.
people that would really like this show.
Oh yeah. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So next season. Let's go.
But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. And also be sure to check out our Twitch channel. So if you have anything that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.